Coming to you live from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios, it's the Cigar Pulpit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm the Bishop of the Burden, Nick, and with me on the patio in the JRE Tobacco Aladino Studios, we've gotten rid of the mobile. It's Pinky.
It's
How you
your girl,
doing?
Pinky. I'm good.
Yeah?
Life is good.
Life is good. Now, this is going to be the first time you've smoked a cigar on my patio.
Yes.
Okay.
I've been over before. We just haven't.
You just haven't.
It wasn't for a pulpit.
No. Well.
Yeah. It's nice. I like it. It's very nice out here.
Very relaxing.
I'm jealous that it's mostly in the shade most of the day.
Yes, I do get the house kind of.
That is
creating
not
shade.
the scenario at my house.
No.
Not the sitch.
No. Your house is very, very sunny.
Very sunny all the time.
Very sunny.
It
Very
is always
sunny
in Pinkyville. That did not come out the way I thought it would.
All right. Well, I have the umbrella, too, which also helps a little bit.
Yeah. And it's just a quiet neighborhood.
It is. It's nice. So
my house backs up to a very busy road.
And on the other side of it's cows.
Cows. I like the cows. I don't mind the cows.
No, the cows are cool.
But the traffic, it's not terrible.
It's not horrible, but there's enough.
That's enough, yeah.
So today, it's going to be Smoker's Choice because, I am woefully behind, and so I will be smoking the second of my two review cigars for the Stars reviews. And so this is cigar 14C. I don't know what it is. On the appropriate Thursday, you can head over to thecigarauthority.com and check out what the review is for cigar 14C. And when you see that, you'll know what this cigar is. I
kind of love that.
Yeah. No, it's fun. It's been fun. I smoked the first one earlier this morning. Then you came by, and we had to do a little bit of work. And then now we're doing this, and so I'm smoking the second one, which is the other 14.
But we talked about, I don't know that I would be a good person to do that because, first of all, I still don't have like a sophisticated cigar palate. And second of all, the thing I enjoy most about cigar smoking is it's like the one time I let my brain do nothing.
Okay.
And so if I were to have to review something, that feels like a lot.
It feels like work.
A lot.
Yeah. Well, no.
So good for you.
It's what I'm doing. I mean, I enjoy it. Now, there are ways you can adjust your palate and get it, prepped and ready and everything, which, I don't know, we can discuss this in a minute. And then you are smoking the
Serenity Now.
Serenity Now from Asylum Cigars.
Which is funny because that's a phrase I hear you say often.
Yeah, typically
when you get frustrated,
when I'm frustrated,
we get talking about politics, and you're like, Serenity Now.
Serenity Now. And in my quick getting ready for this show, I didn't bother to do the research on that cigar, so I'm looking it up right now.
That tracks. That sounds about
yeah,
right.
it's about right. So it is a 5x50 cigar, and that features a Honduran and South American tobaccos in a Connecticut wrapper.
My favorite.
So we got that going on there. So we'll see. We will see what
where it ranks on the pinky scale.
Ranks in the pinky scale, precisely. So, anyway, it's time to cut the cigars, and the official cutting is brought to you by 2guyscigars.com. That's the number 2guyscigars.com. Two Guys have been around for 40 years, and they are the trusted name in the cigar industry. Everybody knows Two Guys, but if you don't, please give them a try. You won't be sorry. Family owned and operated, 2guyscigars.com does the very best to provide a great selection, fair prices, and fantastic customer service. Can't possibly think of what else you could want. But please, go to 2guyscigars.com for your next cigar purchase. Make sure you put in the little notes section of your purchase that the Cigar Pulpit sent you. And remember, that's the number 2guyscigars.com. And now we go ahead and cut the cigar.
Let's go.
And I'm going to cut first because somebody didn't bring their stuff with her. So
nothing.
It's all right. I'm used to having...
Which seems to be a theme with me. Like, I usually, in my real life, am prepared for stuff, but anything cigar-related lately,
You're just struggling to... Yeah, I get it. I mean, you know, well, you did know this was coming.
I
This was not a surprise.
no.
Yes. So, okay. So, I'm going to do the cold draw here real quick. And give my...
That Honduras tobacco. Oh, actually, it's
So, the first time I smoked this, I got this, and I will be going along with this as for the second as well. The cold draw has a very, like, almost sweet, kind of figgy component to it, to where it's almost like a Fig Newton.
Yeah.
It's like a Fig Newton cookie.
My coworker got me hooked on.
I like Fig Newtons.
Like the newer version of Fig Newtons.
There's
They're actually
a newer
very good.
version of Fig Newtons?
Well, I mean, they're thicker and bigger. That's what she said.
I'm going to leave that alone.
They're really good.
Like a girthier Newton is what you're saying.
Yes. Next.
Okay. Well.
My cold draw.
Yes.
Blueberries.
Blueberries?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Which is unusual. Usually I'm like, that's cigar. Yep. 100% cigar. No, this is.
Blueberries.
Mm-hmm.
So a sweetness component to it.
Well, I mean, not really. Like, it doesn't taste sweet, but it gave a hint of.
And you haven't had any blueberry stuff today?
No. I haven't eaten anything today.
Oh.
Have you?
No, I've just had coffee.
I didn't think so. It's early. I mean,
I've just had coffee.
It's actually not, but
it's actually not. It's actually coming up on lunchtime. So, like, after this, I'm going to be like, I need to have some food. But
we can talk about why my cooking and life routine is out of whack and why I usually don't wait till noon to eat, but with all the stuff going on.
Well, while we light the cigars, let's go ahead and listen to this.
Some say cigars are all the same. It's just not true. It's you I have to blame.
Well, I don't know, 'cause what I know, there is a cigar called Aladino
Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. They say authentic, so we're not confused, while the others say it's a word that's just abused.
I guess that's so, they can't compete. At least I'm sure Aladino can't be beat.
Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Cigars uses authentic Corojo tobacco from JRE Tobacco. This is the greatest commercial you ever heard. Yeah.
They say that. They say it's the greatest ever.
They sound like my relatives. My whole family's from New England.
Oh. They're from the...
They park the car with the tobacco.
In the yard. Yeah.
And their khakis.
So, Pinky just learned a valuable lesson that sometimes you can't see the flame in the sun.
Yes.
So
I burned the heck out of that.
A little bit of scorching on the front end of the light there, but
burned blueberries.
Burned blueberries. There you go.
Just what everybody wants.
Well, right off the foot of Cigar 14C, I get a very intense kind of peppery component to it. Definitely peppery in the retrohale. It seems to be strongest off of the foot with the retrohale in the cigar. But
well, that tracks with the first one you had earlier.
It did. It does.
Where it was real strong in the first third.
Yeah, and I'm looking at my notes, and spice off the light, initial retrohale, definitely pepper. But that cookie kind of breadiness component is still present in the cigar. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this tracks out with the first one that I smoked, because there's been a few hours in between the completion of the first one and then this one now, and some coffee and things. So you're just struggling over there, aren't you?
I'm on the struggle bus hard.
Okay, all right.
Just don't mind me.
All right, I won't. So anyway, so this is the first time you've been over here, and we were discussing, kind of just just the smoking environment. It's nice right now while the weather is nice. But we were discussing tents and various things there.
Tent season will be here before we know it.
It's going to be here rapidly. So I figured we would discuss prepping to smoke in the winter. Now, maybe some people are more resilient, hardy, stronger than I am, and are willing to sit out in much colder temperatures and enjoy their cigars.
Absolutely
maybe
not.
Smoke shorter cigars. Like I have some of the Villiger exports inside, and those, theoretically, if you smoked it quick enough, you could burn through that in about 10 to 15 minutes. And it's actual, like, legit tobacco. It's not.
Is that considered a cigarello?
Yeah, I mean, probably ish. Yeah. Ish. Yeah, probably. I get really weird with the terminology when it gets that small, but yeah. But, Davidoff makes some really good small ones
I've
that I've
had
had
those,
before.
yes.
Yeah.
I got a tin of those.
Right. And so, it's one of those things that you can get smaller cigars if you want to sit outside in the cold. But who wants to be uncomfortable while they smoke? You know?
Well, and if you're in it for the experience, then I'm not looking for 10 minutes of heaven. I want 90 minutes. I want the whole
Poor Javier.
experience.
Javier is just, he's got a, goddamn, he's the pressure on that man. 90 minutes versus the 10. I mean, anyway.
So
no, I get what you're saying though. Exactly. If you're gonna have a cigar, it's like, do you really, do you want?
I'm not doing it to
burn. You're not looking just to burn through something.
Yes.
You want to actually sit and have the
Which
relaxation
is why
and enjoyment.
my tent is, I mean, it's excessive. I've got the string lights in there. I get the fireplace, the digital fireplace that actually puts off heat. So to me, it's more than just sitting outside. It's like I go out there and watch shows.
You have a
and
larger
movies.
tent than I do.
Yeah.
You went with the.
Where is yours? Is it in your garage?
It's in the
now?
garage,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Among all the other things.
Among a lot of other stuff. An entire newspaper office, all kinds of stuff's in that garage right now. But I have the 25 square foot. You have, I think, a 36 square foot.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that extra square, it is noticeably, and it's also taller. I can stand up fully in yours, whereas in mine, I have to kind of hunch a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but no, for those people who are considering outdoor smoking options,
it is well
in the
worth
winter,
it.
Yeah, these
Make the investment.
Eskimo ice fishing tents. We've gotten them. They're insulated. You just run an electric cord out to them. You anchor them down, and you're set and ready for the whole winter. I'm obviously looking at eventually installing like a shed and converting it into like an office/smoking area here at the house.
I'm excited about that.
/podcast studio. That way I won't.
Anything that I will be the side beneficiary of, I'm all for it. Let's get it done.
Well, you would.
Do it tomorrow.
I mean, okay. Well,
calm down there, Pinky.
Yeah, I was going to say, we got about $15,000 we got to pull together before I can pull that off. Yeah. And then, with that, there comes all the city permitting, for installation and construction and hooking up the electricity to it.
Yeah.
There's.
Have you confirmed that this is even permissible? Like, does your city allow?
It does.
Okay.
It does allow sheds.
Oh,
and,
I see.
And
some.
outdoor. Yeah, I mean, they're out and about.
Just go jack that person's. That's a nice size right there. Not the blue one, the other one.
The one past it? Yeah, I know. That's not a bad one. And
that's a good size.
It is. I mean,
it's got a garage door. That's a thought.
A garage door would be awesome. See, that's the thing. There's some real customizable ones to where if I were to take one and make a garage door, to where in a nice day like this, I could just raise the garage door and have it be an open air kind of situation, but then in the winter, close the door. Yes. That would be nice. But again, I just bought a house. I don't think I have the money to then turn around and buy basically a mother-in-law
You really
suite.
do need to reach out to like the companies that make it and be like, let me help you reach a niche of customers that you probably don't even exist right now.
I would have thought that Eskimo Tents would have done that with me, given the amount of publicity I've given them, and continue to do, because we're talking about them again today. But no, I don't know.
On to bigger and better things. You gotta set your sights high.
I agree with that. I'm not looking forward to tent season this year. Normally, I'm looking forward to tent season.
Why are you not?
Because I don't want my tent this year.
Right. There's something else in your future.
There is potential better in the future, and I don't want to go down tent road right now. I want to jump ahead, and it's like I can't this year. But I have things I need to do in just to prep for tent season. I have to have an electrician come out. I don't have any outlets along the back of the house, so I have to install an outlet so that I can have that extension cord to run to the tent. Now, the other main thing that I've got to worry about, I'm going to admit something to everybody right now.
I'm scared.
So, every year that I lived at the duplex, I would bitch about how my electric bills, my utilities, would shoot through the roof in the wintertime. Starting with my November bill, ending with my February bill, my bills would go from about $160 to damn near $400.
Wow.
I mean, it was ridiculous. And I'm like, what is causing this? And I always just assumed that admittedly, that place had really bad windows, really bad seals on the windows. I was thinking maybe, it was leaking heat,
not energy efficient.
Not energy efficient at all. And so, then you have the furnace, because that's furnace time.
Right.
So I'm thinking, well, maybe my furnace is inefficient. On top of the fact that I'm losing heat inside, maybe that's what's causing the increase in bill. My dumbass didn't even consider the fact that I would be sitting out in a tent running a very inefficient electric space heater for hours and hours and hours on end.
Do you think that did it?
I'm kind of think it times out right, because I would put the tent up in mid-October and I would typically take it down by about mid-March.
Wow.
And I think that my electric space heater caused my utility bill to skyrocket every year, and it was me doing it to myself, and I never even considered it.
I'm going to admit something else, though.
Which then brings up the fact that there is an extra added cost to doing the tent that I hadn't considered.
Yeah. I have no idea how electricity works. Not even the slightest bit. And we're in the middle of like a kitchen remodel.
I have an episode of Storybots that I can reference you to. Max watches it all the time. It's great. It teaches you all about electricity and how electricity comes along.
Really?
And everything like that. Yep.
I mean, I don't even know the literal basics of how stuff comes into the house, how it's generated somewhere else, and
Storybots. I could totally help you with this.
Oh, okay.
My kid's cartoon can totally help you with this.
Shoot me that episode.
I will shoot you that episode. Ask the Storybots.
Javier's used to me listening to really deep scientific podcasts about brain waves and stuff, and he'll be like, "What the heck are you?"
You're gonna sit down and you're gonna watch a cartoon with little animated robots.
But hey, if it helps me understand electricity.
Edward Norton's in that episode, though.
I really like him.
Yeah, he's in that episode.
Oh, okay.
So,
All right.
yeah. Anyway, so you don't understand electricity.
I have no idea how. The whole grounding thing, and I have no idea.
Oh, I've been dealing with that. None of the outlets in my house were grounded.
So I don't know what... But the
ground wire was run to the outlets. It's just they didn't have a 3-prong outlet. So we've been going through and swapping out the 2-prong for the 3-prong.
You've already done a couple of those?
All of the rooms are done except for... All the rooms are done. All the rooms are done. The only ones that are not done are the ones that are slave to light switch.
Okay. Oh, yeah. You got to...
That's going to require extra work because there's at least 2 of those that I don't want the light switch operating the outlet anymore.
Correct, right.
So I need to have the electrician actually separate that relationship, make the outlet independent from the switch.
Did you switch all those out yourself?
Not myself, but but I had a friend do it.
Oh,
yes.
okay. Oh.
Yeah. They knew what they were doing. I'm not fucking with electricity. Do you think I should be messing with outlets? I mean, I can plug things in and take things out of the plug.
See, that's the extent of... Right.
But, look, I mean, I at least understand the concept of where the power comes from, but I just, I'm not, I'm accident prone. I am not going to do that to myself.
I changed out our ceiling fan in our living room, which is kind of what started this whole kitchen renovation thing. We liked it. But anyway, so I watched a couple YouTube videos. I took out our existing fan. It was a ceiling fan. And I put in the new light fixture, which also had a fan. but it's like a new one where, so on the wall, there's 2 light switches in the same, so before we could turn on the light and or turn on the fan independently. Well, this new single unit I bought, only 1 light switch now, and then it's got a remote and stuff. But I watched several YouTube videos thinking I was learning a lot about it, and then I took the old ceiling fan off and went to put the new one on, and there was like extra wires that I was not anticipating. So I like made frantic phone calls to people in my life who I think understand electricity. I'm like, this is not at all like the YouTube told me.
Yeah.
Like and I'm very scared, and I don't want to blow my house up.
That's why I don't. Everyone's like, oh, you can learn everything off YouTube. In theory. But what if mine is different than
mine was
what
different, and I didn't know. And again, my lack of even basic knowledge, I didn't know what to do with the wires. And so luckily my friend Tom.
Well, if there's something I've learned from every movie, don't cut the red wire. It'll cause the bomb to explode.
True.
So
true.
There's that. So you've been doing this kitchen renovation.
Getting choked up.
Serenity Now. Serenity Now.
Yes. And as a planner preparer, I planned and prepared for the timeline that was presented to us, which was
never accurate.
I know. Which was like 6 weeks. Well, we're going on
how cute.
11 weeks.
Oh my God.
And nothing's gone wrong. It's not like there was some unexpected. A lot of it has to do with the labor shortage. So there were, a job would start. Now, I will say, we have had really good luck with the quality of the contractors. They show up when they say they're going to show up. They're very nice people. They're, you hire somebody off of some Craigslist something or other, and they show up, and you're like, I've decided I don't want you in my house. We didn't have any of that.
Just go to the Home Depot parking lot.
Nope. These were all vetted through we ended up hiring a design company. The gals have been great to work with. And we hired them because I literally don't care what our kitchen physically looks like. They could have proposed red cabinets and green floors, and I probably would have been fine.
You're a big Christmas person.
Well, this is true.
Yeah.
I told them I want a new island, and I knew exactly what I wanted in the island, and I wanted a sink called the workstation sink. Which one of the houses you looked at had that workstation sink? I don't know if you remember that. The first one that you put the offer on, and then it fell through because there were too many.
Oh, yeah. The big deep one with the, yeah.
And I have both of those things now. Outside of those 2 things, I literally didn't care what they designed. I'm like, pretend this is your kitchen. What would you do in your kitchen? And so that's what they did. And I really like it. It's very light. It's very and it makes the kitchen look so much bigger.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
And don't take offense to this.
Okay.
Is it gray?
It is technically gray. It doesn't look gray. Gray is like the hot color. Every fucking house I saw where people had done renovation work to the house, you could even predict walking in that it was going to have the vinyl laminate flooring and it would be gray. Oh, no, we don't have
everything.
We do not have that.
But everything, cabinetry, wall, backsplash, everything.
If I show you,
it doesn't.
Gray. It looks white, honestly. They told us it was gray. The pictures on the design board look like it's gray. Would you say
I blame HGTV.
Would you say... God, I'm so illiterate. It's not, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm trying to show...
I don't want to see the Javier sexy photos.
Stop.
He's a nice guy, but I don't want to...
do you look at that and go, oh, that's gray?
Oh, that doesn't look gray. No, that doesn't look gray.
It's technically gray.
Now, that could be the lighting making me think that it's not gray. But.
Well, and that's the last piece of the puzzle. The guy comes Tuesday, I think, of next week to change out all the lighting. So we went from a totally...
like the recessed, the
I know.
Cans.
Yeah, I would have liked to do that, but
that's
not where we were.
I haven't... That's a down-the-road thing.
Yeah.
There's some places
it's such a good thing to put in because
my place.
The light fixtures, that and the door handles and stuff, that's what really dates a place.
Mm-hmm.
So our kitchen was entirely builder grade. Nothing was updated or upgraded. It was a one owner the house had been owned by one person before we bought it, and she built it She built it, lived in it a year, got divorced, and then moved out.
Oh.
So everything's from like the mid 2000s.
Yeah.
And we don't entertain a lot of people. So you remember what my kitchen looked like? It was fine, but
serviceable for you guys.
I wanted function.
I got
and
it.
so the island is kind of what started it. And I told the gals that were designing it, I'm like, there's almost no price I won't pay to have a good island. So focus on that.
Well, see, now that
came
brings me to
through.
my whole, I want my own private island so that I could, it originally was my COVID escape plan, but now I'm thinking, just in general life, I think it'd be nice to have just
your
my
own
own
island.
private island. And so, to that point, what price are you willing to pay for an island? Because I've got a few that we could probably talk about.
Let me clarify.
No
kitchen
smoking
island.
bans or regulation at all. Cigars good for everywhere.
Open bar.
Yes. I only need one restaurant, so we just need to pick out what franchise is going to put in their one location there, and they will get a lot of business.
Yeah.
But,
So anyway, so we're wrapping that up, but it's been, me, I'm very routine and I enjoy knowing what's coming and happening, and you just don't get that a lot with this type of renovation work. It's like contractors are like, yeah, we'll start Monday and Sunday, and I'm like, okay, so what time on Monday do I think they meant?
Yeah.
And then, they'll, especially with the cabinet painting, it took them 20 days.
Oh my gosh.
They took the doors and the drawers and that went back to the shop. The one guy, Tony, was awesome. I really like that dude. But they had 2 helper people that I have a feeling don't work there anymore.
Oh.
Because Tony came, started it. He had these 2 helper dudes for 2 days. Then they're no longer there. And then the owner came. And I don't know if they had messed something up, but he ended up doing our ceiling and all of our trim for free.
They fucked something
So
up. And the fact that it took 20 days.
20 days.
Something got messed up.
And during that time, during probably 10 days of that, they had, tarped off every entrance to the kitchen because it's a spray for the cabinets. So
you're walking through tarps like a scene from Dexter.
Right, which we'll get to in a minute. But the really pain in the ass thing was, so we have a German Shepherd dog.
Yeah.
So to let the dog couldn't be in there.
Yeah.
So we had to keep the dog out, which was fun. But then to let her outside 4 or 5 times a day, we had to walk out our front door, go to the back fence, let her outside, go get her back. To do our laundry, we had to walk out the front door, go in through the garage. We couldn't go through.
Oh, because there were no entrances. It was just tarped off.
Tarped everything off and taped it down.
Oh, okay.
I literally couldn't get into the kitchen. So we thought we had planned ahead. We moved our air fryer and some, appliance, but we didn't think about not having access to the fridge and water and dishes. So that was something. Anyway, needless to say, I've put on a couple pounds during this kitchen renovation, and that is coming to an end hopefully next week. So
there you go.
And I really do like it. So thank you all for listening to my kitchen renovation lamenting.
On a side note, you mentioned doorknobs. So I went through and we swapped out all of them to, as people on the YouTube might see, we have the handles.
Yeah,
now
those are
instead
nice.
of knobs.
Yeah.
And the whole point of that was I wanted something that I could hit with my elbow and push the door. Because when I'm coming in from outside with my cigar smoking, whatever, my drink and things of that nature, I don't want to have to be dicking with an actual knob. I want something I push down and push the door open.
I mean, you teed it up.
I mean, look, if she's dicking with a knob.
Yikes.
Then,
I instantly regret that
I'm
comment.
not saying that size matters, but, if you're dealing with a knob, size might matter. Anyway.
No, but I get it. It's just easier to.
It is easier. Yeah. So, but back to the whole smoking in the wintertime situation. I'm curious as to what other people are doing, what other parishioners are doing. So, as a topic for Ask the Pulpit, call the hotline, area code 863-874-0000, and tell me what you're doing. 3/4 of the country, maybe.
I was going to say, we're most interested in people that live in a place with 4 seasons.
Where it gets cold. Yeah, exactly.
I don't want 6, though, being I just sit outside all year.
Yeah, no, I don't need that.
Which I know he doesn't. He actually does have a tent because it gets pretty chilly wherever he is in California.
See, there you go. But that's the thing. Tents. Do you just grin and bear it? I mean, that's fine unless you're living in Fargo. In which case, if you're living in Fargo, what are you doing?
Hey, I lived in North Dakota for 3 years. Not during my smoking days, but
Well, see, that doesn't help me.
it would get to 70 below.
Oh, gross. Gross. My tent would not be able to handle that.
70 below.
That's just nuts.
And the worst part was, so it would snow a lot, but we lived in a part of town where like the wind gust. So you had the snow accumulation, but then you had the wind gust blowing. I mean, we couldn't get out our front door several times during the winter. It was crazy.
That's no good. But yeah, I want to know what people do.
Yeah.
Because I mean, obviously there are options, but I want to know what those options are. So, to my cigar, as I'm smoking this, I'm maybe coming near the end of the first third. There has been the slight bit of pepper on the smoking experience. The retro hail definitely has some pepper to it. That kind of cookie breadiness, is still hanging on in the first third, which all is consistent with the first time I smoked the cigar earlier today. Construction-wise, the ash hangs on pretty well. Burn line has been really pretty good. Draw on it's been good. I've been digging that. So I'm very curious as to what this cigar actually is, and I'll find out later this month. But, And by the way, Dan, if you are listening, yes, I'm getting you this review late, but, it's
Apologies.
Apologies. I mean, there's been a lot going on. I mean,
well, mine's a solid stick.
Couldn't concentrate on it at Pulpit Fest.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Mine's very solid. Like you talked about ash hanging on. This has had a good.
You do. You have a good ash going there.
The flavor's fine. I mean, it's a good, nice, light cigar, but I can't speak to like what I'm getting on it.
So you're getting it as a like a light flavor, like a light strength?
It feels light.
Okay.
Would you say it's not?
I don't know. I haven't smoked that one before.
Oh. I mean, it's got the Connecticut wrapper with the Honduras leaves, so it feels light.
Okay.
But I feel like I need to be on a quest now because the flavored cigars that I enjoy, I haven't found one that's as well built as like this. Like I want that's why I really like those. Do you remember the ones you bought for me in Tampa? Were they Makedas?
Yeah. Yeah.
Those, even though they're not flavored in terms of what I normally like, they're probably one of the better built cigars that I've consistently gone back to.
Okay.
Even though they're torpedo, which again not my favorite, all those other things that didn't matter to me because it was such a good smoke.
Okay.
The quality of the smoke, like this is putting off. Well,
no, I would say that's a good smoke production.
That's a ton of smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
so if I could find this build with a better flavor.
Okay.
I would really like
So you're
that.
not digging the flavor on that one per
I'd
se.
smoke it again.
Yeah.
But it's not one I'm going to be like, ooh, that was really,
I see.
left me wanting more.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, that's good to know.
But
That's good to know.
again, I really value like a nice, well-built cigar. It
Yeah.
totally, because I told you last week when I was in my garage, I had smoked one. I need to check my Tupper door. It's not where it needs to be, but it's the first time I couldn't even smoke the cigar. It was a chocolate flavored something or other. I don't even remember where I got it, but it wouldn't light, and then certainly wouldn't stay lit. But I could tell it was squishy. We talked about earlier, and it was warm, so it had heated. But there was I literally couldn't get any draw on it. I was so frustrated.
Did you notice if there was like a hole like tunneling through the filler?
Not that I noticed.
Okay.
Should there?
No, that would be an indication as to maybe why the outer part wasn't burning. Maybe I'm thinking that it was tunneling, and so the filler was burning, but the wrapper and binder weren't, and that's why that also can cause draw problems. But
I mean, I after 2 or 3 minutes, I was so frustrated. I was like, "This is the opposite of what I'm trying to get right now."
And that's when you just dump it.
I did.
That's what you do. You just dump it.
Done. And then I went for a cigar that I had been saving, the mint Javas that I love. I was like, screw it. I had been saving that. I'm like, nope, I'm smoking it now. I'm so frustrated. I wanted such a good smoking experience.
And did that one work out well?
Always.
Okay, see,
always.
there you go. So
always. But I did realize I don't have, so it's a box press.
Yeah.
It's big. The cigars.
I mean, it comes a different size, but yeah.
Well, whatever one I had was big, and I don't have a cutter that is built for those. I had
Really?
real trouble. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. getting it cut.
Okay.
So
Well.
ended up using one of my solid flat ones, and just tried to snip it off there. But I prefer being able to V-cut it.
Yeah. Well,
It's way too big. Anyway.
Okay, then. Well, I didn't realize you had that big of a cigar. Although...
Again, they come in different...
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking, like, I wouldn't have given you that, so that would have been one you'd bought.
No,
at
I
some
bought
point.
that.
Okay.
I bought that.
Okay. I'm like,
Last
wait
time
a
I was on the hill.
Oh, okay. Okay.
In my last stash I picked up.
Gotcha. All right. Well, let's go ahead and do this, because we kind of teased it for a little, accidentally teased it. It's time for the Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report, brought to you by
Villiger.
Villiger Cigars, one of the leading cigar and cigarello manufacturers in the world, founded in 1888 and still family-owned and operated. Head over to VilligerCigars.com and check the store locator to find a shop near you that carries them. We guarantee that Villiger Cigars will be a wonderful addition to your humidor and cigar rotation. So, what have you been watching lately?
Dexter.
You mentioned it, and I didn't mean to bring it up, but it kind of came up with
So
the whole
Javier watched
plastic
it years and years ago, and he's been telling me since then, you should watch it, you should watch it, you should really watch it, you might like it. And I finished up True Blood, which I told you. So I'm totally off social media right now.
Okay.
I think we talked about that last time. It's been like 3 or 4 months since Instagram was really the only thing I've been on, but I've been off that. And so I have more time on my hands. So I finished up True Blood, which, funny story about that. If you've watched True Blood, then you know that there are some racy scenes, very racy, loud scenes. And I was in
I haven't watched True Blood. I'm aware of this, though.
I was in a meeting where I was using my iPad to document notes from the meeting.
Oh, boy.
And the last thing I did on my iPad was watch True Blood. So I unlocked my iPad, and it immediately fired up. I mean, it was the screen that was on there, and just started playing out loud. And I was like, oh, shh. I'm like shutting my iPad, trying.
Everybody thinks you're watching porn.
What is she watching?
That's funny.
It was literally one of the worst scenes that could have been.
My God.
Anyway. So took Javier's recommendation and started Dexter, and I like it. It's not what I thought it was. I don't know what I thought it was, but it's not what I thought it was. So
okay,
it's interesting.
It's one of those shows where I heard the ending is bad, and so
You see, I didn't know that until you told me that earlier today,
Sorry.
and now I'm like, son of a gun.
You know what? You might like it.
But also, if you recall, I have a terrible habit of starting things and not watching either the last episode or sometimes even the last season.
Well, yeah, you and Javier had started watching The Sopranos.
Correct. Yep, didn't finish it.
Didn't think so.
Didn't finish it.
It's a shame.
I do that with my food, too.
It
drives him crazy.
It's a good show.
My drinks and my food, I will get down to literally the last bite or the last sip, and it just stays. I don't do it on purpose. I don't know.
You're just over it at that point.
Just don't finish it.
Oh.
So.
Okay.
I'll have to ask him now that you said that, because he's watched Dexter, if he remembers the ending being
poopy.
Like, making him mad.
I'm just saying, I've heard that that the last episode of that is not very good. And that I've had multiple people tell me, like, oh, just watch it and just don't watch the last episode.
So do you know what it's about?
Nope. Well, I mean, I know what the show's about.
The show's about,
yeah. But I've maybe seen about 10 minutes of it total, passing through a room while it was playing kind of thing. But I've never actually, watched it.
It is one of... It feels low budget.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it. Like, do you know who aired it originally?
Showtime.
Really?
Yep. That was a Showtime show.
It is the first time I've noticed that the casting seems really odd. Like so there's Dexter and then his sister, and like the actress that plays her just seems weird. The costuming or the outfitting, like they're ill-fitting. Like it's a show about cops and detectives and stuff, and like all the cops' suits are like, when the detective has to go in and he's not in like cop uniform, he's in a suit or like attorneys, they're very ill-fitting. The sister's outfit, she's a cop, and she just always looks, I don't know, it's weird. It's just the first time I've ever noticed that in a show.
Yeah.
Which to me is like terrible. If I'm noticing it, then that's bad.
Huh.
So. But the content's fine.
Okay.
I mean, I'm clearly still watching.
Obviously, you're obviously still watching.
I will tell you, I've enjoyed having. So I think one of the reasons that like I don't in my like usual life, if I don't have something I look forward to, then I end up just working.
Yeah.
And so now that when I'm getting into these shows and I'm not on social media, I'm like, I get home, like I work until 2 in the afternoon, and then I get home and I'm like, oh my God, I've got like 2 or 3 hours. I can just sit here and watch shows, which I've never done, except during COVID.
Yeah.
COVID Pinky.
COVID Pinky. I've got a few. In terms of what I've been watching lately, I really haven't had a whole lot of time, and when I do, I tend to just want to space out and not watch anything super serious or mentally challenging. Mm-hmm. So I've been burning through Home Improvement still.
I loved that show.
I have been watching that.
Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Yeah, and you know, it's a formulaic '90s sitcom, you know, but I've been enjoying that. And then, but there's some shows that are starting back up that I'm really looking forward to. So the newest season of Only Murders in the Building, I
still need to watch that.
Started, but they're doing like one episode a week, so I'm waiting for that to build up.
Remind me what platform that's on.
Hulu.
I think I have access to that.
Yeah.
Is that about a podcast?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's got Martin Short and Steve Martin.
Several people have recommended that.
Is it Selena Gomez? I think. And such a good show.
Okay.
Such a good show.
And
the new season of that has started, but I'm waiting to bank up some episodes on that. What else is coming out? There's a documentary coming to HBO. Let me find it. It's coming out here very, very soon, actually.
Remind me to talk to you about the documentary I watched recently.
Damn, it's not where I thought it was. It's coming soon to HBO, and it's all about David Chase, who and his creation of The Sopranos. Son of a bitch, where is that? I don't know where I have that at. I don't know. Anyway, that's coming soon to HBO, and I'm looking forward to that. And then what else is coming soon?
Aren't we at the time of the year where they're starting to, like, all the
There's
networks should be like booting up their
stuff starting to come back out, and I'm just like, in some of it, I'm really looking forward to some of it, but I don't know where I have that at. So yeah. So anyway, somewhere there's a Sopranos documentary coming on HBO here soon. And then there's some other stuff, and I'm trying to remember it now off the top of my head. But those are the two that I remember that have started or are coming soon.
Have I ever told you about my college roommate experience?
Your college roommate experience?
I can't believe, if we've never talked about this, I'll be shocked.
Is this the one? The like, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So you can get into that if you'd like to.
Quick recap. So
you've never done it on the show. You told me.
So I went to college in Kentucky, and most of the kids I went to college with, it was a small school, were from Kentucky.
Okay.
But I was paired with my freshman year roommate that was from Indiana. So I'm like, oh, great. I don't know anybody. She won't know anybody. This is great. We became best friends.
Okay.
It was great. She's tall, beautiful, incredibly smart, fun.
Got her number?
It was great. You don't want her number. You don't want her number.
I know.
So freshman year was great. Decided we were going to room together again. Sophomore year through 90% of the year was great. And
but
then,
that 10%.
That 10%. So I was getting ready to go to Keeneland, which is like a racetrack, which I had never been to before.
Okay.
And I see somebody in the park, and they're like, hey, why is, we'll call her Amanda. Why is Amanda moving out? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Amanda's right now. She's moving out of your room. I was like, my roommate's moving out of her room? Yeah. I have no idea.
Yeah.
So I don't go to Keeneland, and I go back to our room, and she's literally moved out of her room.
Wow.
I had no notice, nothing. I'm like, what is happening?
Just gone.
Well, long story short, the too long didn't read version is she literally led a double life on this small campus for 2 years and had all of us snowed. And then conversations started happening with some of her friends, and it started coming out that she is not at all who she said she was.
Yeah.
And we're talking like, I mean, my college had like 1,200 students.
Yeah.
This is not a big college.
Yeah.
And so silly things like she told me she was a chemistry major, and she bought the chemistry book and she studied for the chemistry tests.
Yeah.
Told me that her chemistry professor said she's the most promising pre-med student he's had in years, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I believed it. She is smart. Was smart.
Yeah.
And then just silly things like that. But then big things like saying she dated, you know, like some of the more popular men on campus. And then like it got back to them and they're like, I never dated Amanda. What are you talking about? So like people started comparing stories and it all unraveled in like a 3-day period.
Wow.
And it got to me after she had moved out. And she moved to a room on the first floor of the dorm we lived in. And then that happened, let's say, on a Thursday. And then
So she stayed on campus.
For a couple days.
Yeah.
And then left campus the Friday before final exam week, our sophomore year. Just moved off campus, left. So I get a phone call from the dean of students on Saturday. He calls me and then separately these other people on campus into his office to tell us that she is no longer at school and she is saying that I emotionally abused her.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, this has got to be like a pranked episode or something. Like I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, are we even talking about the same person? And then he starts telling me all these things she said, none of which even remotely happened. It's not like she took something that happened and then just embellished it. Literally none of this happened. I would like spring break trips and how I turned all these people against her. And I was looking at this guy like, I don't know what's happening in this very moment. You are lying to me right now. And then I said, so he said, so she's gone. She left school. And I said, okay, so like, what is she doing about finals? And he goes, well, she gets to take finals from home. She's worked it out with her professors. I'm like, but I got to stay here on campus where I've supposedly emotionally abused somebody. And I got to take my finals starting on Monday. He's like, I mean, if you want to talk to your teachers, you can. And I mean, just bonkers.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of glad it all happened when it did because I took my finals and everybody, you know, scattered for the summer. Everybody went home.
And over the summer, everybody kind of...
Correct. Came back to campus in the fall, fresh as new, you know, whatever. So my birthday's in October. I get a birthday card from her that fall. And it was a birthday card apologizing for everything. I lied to myself. I lied to everybody. I'm in therapy now. I can't believe all the people I hurt. You were nothing but kind to me. So I kept the card, right? And 2 years later, so we were in the same sorority. And I had heard that after she left, she went to a state school in Indiana, joined our sorority chapter there.
Yeah.
And I had heard people, and this is back way before Facebook. We didn't have Facebook and text messaging or anything. But we had a mutual friend that she kept in touch with. And so this friend would tell me, oh yeah, Amanda's doing great. You know, she's turned her life around. I'm like, you know what? Good for her. Yeah. I mean, it fundamentally changed me.
Kind of ruined mine, but
seriously, it fundamentally changed me. You can ask my husband because he and I were together at that. I mean, we were dating back then.
Yeah.
Anyway, so fast forward a couple years, senior year, we're on a spring break cruise in the Caribbean. And we're on the party deck, and the guy who I went on this cruise with, he's gay, but he was like our best man of the sorority. Okay, so he was there when all of this happened. He was somebody that had been hurt by her and whatever.
Yeah.
So we're on the party deck, and this group of girls, like the DJ goes up to me, he's like, tell me your names and where you're from. They're like, haha, we're such and such from State University. And it was the sorority at the school she had gone to.
Yeah.
So my BFF and I look at each other. We're like, we're going to go find out how Amanda's really doing. So we walk up and we're talking to them. And I'm like, oh, hey, I'm a such and such too. We're the same sorority. This is great. He's our sorority man. How awesome is this? So I said, well, you guys must know my former roommate, Amanda. And they're like, Amanda. Let me think about it. No, we don't have an Amanda. I go, you don't have an Amanda? She's not your social chair? Because I'd heard that she had, won the election. And they're like, we don't have any Amandas in our chapter. And I go, well, how big is your sorority? Like, maybe if you're at a state school, maybe it's like 300 people.
Yeah.
No, it's like 80 people. Like, oh, no, we know everybody. I'm like, that son of a bitch. She is still lying.
That's crazy.
So, it impacted me big time.
Yeah.
I didn't trust anybody. I used to devote the same amount of energy to every person in life. And after that, I was like, no, not doing that. All that to say, I watched a documentary recently called The Worst Roommate Ever.
Okay.
And
you're like, I could beat this.
Well, I thought I could. It turns out I can't. She never, to my knowledge, never tried to kill me or poison me.
Oh.
But the documentary, the series is about like basically professional squatters.
Oh my gosh.
So in one of the episodes, it's a guy who either went to law school and didn't take the bar, or he wasn't quite an attorney, but knew enough about it. He would answer Craigslist. Well, first of all, if you're putting an ad out there for a roommate on Craigslist, maybe not best decision made. Nah. Anyway, these professional squatters get in. They act like they're the best roommate ever for 30 days. The second you start getting mail at a place, that establishes residency.
Okay.
And now you can't kick this person out for anything.
Wow.
People filed, the squatters would get in, and 35 days after moving in would file a restraining order against you, and some of these people
boot you out of the house,
out of your own house,
wow,
out of your own apartment. It was crazy.
Wow.
But I watched the show like I'm gonna have some camaraderie with these people. Just they're not who they say they are. Yeah. Okay. So isn't that wild?
That is crazy.
That happened, 25 or 30 years ago, and it's wild.
Okay.
And that was in my formative years too. I was like, I feel like I'm a good person. And it took me years to realize like this had absolutely nothing to do with me. She did not do this to me. Like this is who she was. I was just involved. But it was bonkers.
That's crazy.
Totally crazy.
Crazy. Well, all right. Well, it's a Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report there. Got a little bit more out of that than we thought. So.
Therapy session for Pinky.
Exactly. So let's do this now. It's time to fly high with Blackbird Cigars. Blackbird Cigars offers you remarkable quality using the most delicate and finest tobacco to always ensure that you're receiving unsurpassed cigars. Blackbird Cigars strives to give you undoubted repeating flavor for every cigar you smoke and impressive quality so that you can always expect greatness. Check out their website for a full list of stores carrying Blackbird Cigars and give them a test flight. Blackbird Cigars can't clip our wings. All right, so it's time to hear a story of somebody doing badass stuff. And so today, we're going to talk about 7-year-old Jack Swanson.
Let's hear it.
Now, Jack Swanson, he donated every dime he had to his name to a vandalized mosque. The Texas boy heard that a local mosque had been vandalized in a hate crime, and he sprang into action. That very afternoon, he gave every penny of the $20 he'd accumulated over quite some time to the mosque. And while $20 may not seem like much, it was everything to that little boy.
For sure.
And truly a sign that kindness exists in generations to come. So, guys,
shout out.
Be like Jack Swanson and Blackbird Cigars, and don't let anybody clip your wings.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. It's nice. It's the point of the segment. It's to just say people that are doing good things.
Exactly.
Yeah, so.
Does Jack need a roommate? Just kidding.
Yeah. Be careful with roommates, Jack.
Right.
They're going to take your $20.
Don't let anybody take advantage of your kindness.
Oh, God.
Oh, geez.
So, before we get into the socials here, I'm going to give a little bit of thought on this cigar. I'm entered into the final third. The kind of peppery spice has backed off just a little bit. I haven't given it a retrohale in a minute. But construction is still awesome. Smoke production still awesome. It is a slow smoke. I'm not getting it quite as much with this one. The first one I smoked, I think it seemed like a slower smoke than this one. The first one I smoked, I really was drawing that out and taking its time. This one seems to be smoking a little bit more rapidly.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the difference between the two would be in that regard, but this one, it's been a little bit more keeping on pace with my smoking. pace.
Yeah.
So anyway, but what about yours? The Serenity Now.
It's good. I think on the pinky scale, I'd smoke it again next week. I wouldn't not smoke it. Oh, Lord. I knew that was coming.
Oh, God.
Just saw it coming.
I exhaled some of it, but I swallowed some of it. That was unfortunate.
Good thing it didn't have as much peppery stuff
Yeah,
as
it
the
was,
first
still,
third.
it was still definitely peppery, though. Especially
you want to revise that final third?
Let's put it there. Okay, so for the review, the Retro Hail is a little less peppery than the very beginning, but when you swallow it, oh, dear God.
Changes the game.
Definitely changes the game a little bit. So I might have just amped it up on the old strength meter there. Yeah, so, oh, my God. All right, then. So I'm available on the socials, on Instagram at the Cigar Pulpit. I'm on Facebook where we have the Pulpit Parishioners group. You can get in on the fun there. Twitter/X, YouTube where you can watch this. And as I pointed out earlier, I do need your calls for Ask the Pulpit. You can give that a call on the hotline at area code 863-874-0000. Leave your calls, questions, comments, concerns, and tell me about how you smoke in the wintertime. Do you go to a lounge? Do you just not smoke in the wintertime? What do you do? Let me know.
And I'm on zero socials, so I'm so fun that you can only catch me on the Cigar Pulpit.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
I mean, you've got an Instagram. It's just sitting there dormant.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's okay.
I don't miss it.
I'm a little jealous of that.
Somebody messaged me, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, one of my friends, and she said, I hope your social media break's going well. She's like, I've convinced myself that you're taking a break because you're writing a book. Please tell me you're writing a book.
Oh.
I was like, I don't know what in my life makes her think that I would write a book. No, there was no book writing.
I want to write a book. I just don't know what I want to write a book about. That's the thing. It's a bucket list item where it's like, I want a book, but I don't know.
Why do you want a book? Like, is it to say you wrote it? Because everybody that writes a book says the process is unbearably terrible and they dislike it, and then they write 5 books.
Part of it is to say I wrote it. I mean, I'm a writer. You know that. So, I mean, like, it's kind of one of those things that it's like, yeah, you know what? I'd like to have a book on my shelf with my name on the spine. But, like, that's part of why I haven't done it yet, because it's like, I don't know what I want to write it about, so I don't want to just write, like, anything, There's a thing in November called NaNoWriMo, and it's National Novel Writing Month. And the whole point is from November 1st to November 30th, every day you write a little bit, and you don't, and the goal is by the end of the month you have a certain amount of words. You basically write your novel over the course of that whole month. And because it's only in that month, you can't think, you can't dwell. You have to sit down and you have to write.
Yeah.
And then you take December to actually edit and get it where, make adjustments, things of that nature. But that November is all about just that mindless writing, just to get it out of the system, onto the page, and then from there you can kind of go and
I've heard
refine
that's the way to do it, is the forced.
But again, I just don't know. I don't really want to write fiction. I don't think. But on the flip side, like, I don't know what I want to write about, And so, I mean, I'm fascinated by the folks that do write, books, because it's a thing that I'm like, I would like to do. And selfishly and perhaps, greedily, I sit back and think, man, the passive income from having a book out there that as it sells, obviously the biggest amount of sales are going to be right when it releases, but over time, it continues and continues and continues. Eventually, it can be some passive income coming in, but that wouldn't be the main motivating reason for doing it. It would be nice, but it wouldn't be the main motivating reason.
I read a book. We went on vacation like in February or March, and I downloaded a bunch of books onto my device, and something happened that's never happened before. So I ended up picking a book just based on, like, I don't know if it was Kindle or our library app was like, oh, you've downloaded these, maybe you'll like this one.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to load up without putting too much thought into it. Like, oh, okay, that sounds good. And I read very light on vacation. Like, I'm not reading the scientific, trying to figure out how your brain works type
Yeah.
stuff. So I downloaded this book and I read it, and the author literally stopped it in the middle of the book. Like, you are character development, you're kind of invested in the storyline of what's happening. It's like this couple that's outrunning, this person that's trying to kill them. And then you flip the page and it's like, well, this is the end of the book. I'm going to be real honest. I didn't know how to end this. And I'm like, what? And wow, that really happened. She just didn't finish the book.
Really?
I'm like, why did this book get recommended to me? Surely there's like 0 stars. Nobody recommended it. Like, why would you even
release
publish
that?
it? Yes.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
couldn't believe it. Dumb. Embarrassing.
That
Just
is
don't even do
embarrassing.
it. Just don't even do it.
I know. That is
Wow.
embarrassing.
Good Lord.
Okay. Well. Well, speaking of finishing things, I did just finish Cigar 14C. And, this is why they give you 2 of them to smoke, because the first time I smoked it, the pepper, it went away in the final third.
Yeah.
This one, it hung out a little bit longer. Now, it could be the fact that I just choked on some of the smoke, so maybe I'm still picking up
User
on that.
error.
Yeah, user error, but it is a little different. But it was a good cigar, and I will be submitting my review to Dan here shortly for that. But
You'll have to text me when you find out what it was.
I will. I will let you know. I will send you the review when I find out what it is.
Perfect.
So final thoughts on the Serenity Now?
I like it. Like I said, I'd smoke it again next week.
All right, then. Well, there you go. Well, Pinky, we're down to 5% on the iPad, so I think it's time to go ahead and wrap this up. So thank you so much for taking time out of your day.
Glad to be here.
Nice. So
proud to be here. Happy to serve.
I think we've covered everything. So, guys, this has been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Nick.
It's your girl, Pinky.
Everybody stay safe and stay smoky. So real quick, I got to know, do you know where your roommate is at now?
No. And in fact, I was talking to a detective recently, and he was like, ooh, I got to start looking this person up.
Yeah.
I knew things were going to be wrong when the first time I called her. I said, hi, I'm calling to talk to Amanda. And she's like, well, first of all, it's pronounced Amanda. Like, she corrected how I said her. I should have just known then.
That should have been a first
Red
key.
flag.
Yeah, red flag. Yep. So, all right. Thanks, guys.
See ya.